Hey YouTube, what's up? Sandy C here with some more uncommon sense. Things we should have been taught, things I wish I already knew. Things that my father remembers his mother and grandmother doing together all the time with regularity. Okay, we're talking about canning. More specifically today, we're pressure canning green beans. It's a super easy one, so we're gonna keep it simple, stupid. We're gonna kiss it, make it easy as possible. Ready? So the first thing, you want to get all your stuff ready to go. Nice clean countertop. I cheated, I got ahead a little bit. Get your sinks clean, your tools ready, your jars ready, your recipe book out ready, your canning, pickling salt ready. Inspect your pot, have it cleaned to make sure it's ready to go. I got my vinegar sitting by right here. I've got all my pieces, parts, my weight, my gauge. For the green beans, this is a little different than canning chicken. I've got this standing by. We're gonna boil this, have ourselves some hot water ready. I'll show you what that's for. Also, we've got our pot with our rings and lids on here. We'll boil that to sanitize. We've got all our tools and towels laid out. We've got a water resistant oven glove right here. Bada boom, bada bing. Okay. So that's part of the easiest, or part of the important part of making this easy and not a chore. Get everything ready. Get everything just ready to go and laid out, ready to execute the plan. So here we go. We're gonna start over here. We've got our pot boiling with our lids and rings inside. That's gonna boil for 5 minutes. Over here for preparing the green beans, we've got water boiling now. We're gonna put that lid on and let that simmer. We're gonna go ahead and slide that toward the back and then start preheating our pressure cooker, just slowly bringing it up to temperature. Over here, we washed our green beans really well in the colander there. We are chopping them into 2-inch sections, removing any shriveled or rust-colored pieces, stuff we don't want. Okay. Jars. These are in hot water. Okay, so we're just getting those to temperature. When we bring them over, add the beans and the hot water. We're boiling this for 5 minutes. We got our timer here. We got this up to a boil, and now we just have it sitting in the back simmering. And we've brought our pressure cooker on. We've got our 2 to 3 inches of water. My particular model likes closer to 3 inches. 2 tablespoons of distilled white vinegar in. All right, grab a jar out of your hot water bath there. Bring it on over. Half a teaspoon for the pint, a whole teaspoon if you're doing quarts. We're doing pints, so we've got a half teaspoon of a canning and pickling salt. Then we're just gonna fill in our prepared raw green beans. Little by little, we just wanna, a little bit at a time, and then stuff them in. A little bit at a time and stuff them in. You don't want a lot of big air gaps. Once you got it pretty well filled up and up to your 1-inch headspace, that's when you're going to take your hot simmering water and pour that over top of your green beans. That's going to fill in all your air gaps. And once you do fill it to that 1-inch headspace, you want to just give it a light little tap, little light drop on the countertop, and that'll shake any last air bubbles loose. It'll drop like that or even lighter, and that shakes out any air bubbles. Then we've taken our rag that we've dipped in warm water and wrung out, and we are wiping the threads and the top of the rim with the distilled white vinegar. This ensures that sterilization, sanitation, and a nice clean seal. Go fishing, get yourself a lid, pop her on. They do cool off easy. They may have just been in boiling water, but they cool off very quickly once they come out. Screw your ring on, finger tight. And then this is where a nice glove or your can grabber comes in, and pop it right there into the canner. Okay, I went ahead and got my rack, put it in there because we had enough to do a couple more jars. And you'll notice, see, we didn't have enough to fill these, but you always want to fill the space. So we filled them, observing the 1-inch headspace with the hot water, followed the same process. And that way, when this thing starts rumbling and that pressure in there and boiling up, nothing's gonna fall over, bang, break, anything like that. So even if you can't fill all the jars, make sure you fill the space in your pressure cooker so they're not dancing around. We're gonna go ahead and get that lid on and get her up to pressure. Now we're gonna go ahead and bring it up to temperature. Should take about 15 minutes for a good steady stream of steam to come out of this. Once we get that steady stream, we're gonna go with a 10-minute timer. This is just like the chicken. So once you do this on your particular pressure cooker, this setup process is the same. All right, so let's get this going. We've got our steam coming out. We set our 10-minute timer. You can't see it, but I promise you can hear it. So it's coming out. We're gonna let that happen for 10 minutes or 5 more minutes according to the clock. Then we'll be back to put on our counterweight. We have now vented our steam for 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and throw on our counterweight. Bam. It climbs pretty quickly. Right when it hits that 11 mark, yeah baby, right when we crank it to 11, I'm gonna dial this back down to medium. I already know my sweet spot is right about this 4. So right when I hit 11, I'm gonna crank it down to medium. It'll probably roll up to 12, maybe 13 or so, but it won't blast past it. And I'll slowly bring it on down, and I want it right between that 11 and 12. You don't want to go below the 11. Remember that. If you do, you have to bring it back up to the 11 and then restart your cook time all over. So crank it to 11 and keep it there. Crank past 11, so I'm going to dial my heat back down here. We don't want it staying past 13 very long. Once she comes under 13, I'm going to set her to the sweet spot I know I have here, right around my 4. Again, all our appliances are going to be different. So the first few times you do this, take some notes. Take some notes. Figure out where your sweet spot is. All right, now that we're there, we need to set our timer. Okay, with the green beans, raw packed fresh green beans, it is 25 minutes for quarts or 20 minutes for pints. We got 2 rows of pints on there. So, 20 minutes. We have now been at a pressure between 11 and 13 for 20 minutes. So, we're gonna go ahead and turn the burner all the way off. Oh crap, don't do that. Ah. You're not gonna do that. You're not gonna touch it in any other way. You're gonna leave it alone. Just let it sit. Forget about it. Forget about it for half an hour. All right, we let her cool down naturally. I gave it about an hour or so, and you can tell it's completely stopped. But err on the side of caution. If you got a rubber glove or something like this, throw it on. If you got a towel, throw it on. When you go to pull this off, do it firmly. Don't diddle-daddle. And pull it off and kind of tilt it back so you're leaning it back. So if there is any little residual, it's being guided that way away from you, and you're still being protected by your glove. So bam, that's it. No big deal. Bada bang. And then what you'll do is just go ahead and open it up. See if I can do this one-handed. Let's go. Bada bing. There we go. See, and these are our empty cans. We used them to fill that void. That's very important. If we didn't put these in there and just left these couple of in here with the beans, odds are they would have rattled around, fallen over, and either broken or just didn't seal right. So this is that point where if you're going to be doing multiple batches in a day and you need to clean this pot, you'll use your mitt or your can grabber, and you can pull them out and set them down on some, place some towels down and set them down. You don't want to set a hot boiling jar down on a cold countertop. It's gonna go boom, okay? It's gonna break. So be aware of that. But if you don't have another set of jars ready to go in the canner, you can go ahead and leave them, let them cool overnight. They're not going anywhere. All right, we let everything cool overnight, but you'll notice things are still actually a little warm. So err on the side of safety. Use your glove, oven mitt, or your can grabber to pull them out. Set them on a towel because they're gonna be dripping wet. And if they are still hot, you don't want them coming in contact with the cold counter and breaking. So we're just gonna go ahead and pull these guys out here. Take a Sharpie, write on them today's date and green beans. Almost forgot to mention, after you get them out, check those lids. You want to make sure they're nice and sealed. They shouldn't be making any. They're pretty obvious. When they're popped, you know it immediately. But go ahead and just poke on all of them, see? And then you can go ahead and unscrew your rings. Remember, you don't want to store them with the rings. Those pop right off and bada bing. That goes in the shelf just like that once it's labeled. And look at that, folks. It's just that easy. You know, it doesn't have to be as complicated as we once thought. So, I appreciate all of you for being here. Please like and subscribe. I'll bring you a whole lot more of these. My plan is to kind of bring 3 versions of each. A 1-minute quick short, a 5 to 8 minute quickie, and then maybe, you know, those 15 to 20 minute where we really get into the details and kind of show you step by step. But the 5 to 8 minute step by step, that's all you need. You don't need me to watch me do things for too long. You need to do them yourself. So go out there, be prepared, not scared. Sandy C is out on this one, but coming back with many more. Later, dudes.